Don't do it, Neil. No, don't. No, Neil. Poor Neil. Poor Neil. Neil just...
Lay audio source.
Oh, poor Neil. Oh,
okay.
Neil.
Oh.
Afternoon, everybody. This is Anthony from Airsoft, and I got my bow buddy,
Matt.
And this is Asked Amp episode 50. It's
We made it somehow.
It's a question and answer show where we take your questions that you ask and we answer them honestly for the lack of our professional livelihoods. But basically, this one, since it's number 50, we're doing something different. We have a live broadcast going at the same time for all you guys on YouTube. Sorry you missed it, but maybe it'll happen again in the future. Mm-hmm. Pay attention. But right now, we're also, instead of the special segments that we usually do today, we're going to answer questions that are coming up in the live stream as well.
So they get theirs answered live, but you'll see it a couple days from now. Makes sense, right?
It's science.
Right.
But either way, yeah, I'm back. Hi.
So in honor of him being back, we're going to do one more Anthony segment. Pat Phoenix, Rippin' Pasta Anthony, Pandora Squadron. For real, I did not vote to leave the European Union just so Anthony could not be in part of 49. Disgraceful. Make Ask Amp great again. Best one so far. Logan Hyatt,
on that one's good.
Where's Anthony? Mason Kelly, hey Amp, you guys are nerds. I don't know why I put that one in there. Julian, I can't pronounce your last name. Only the loan sharks can find Anthony now. True. The man, where is Anthony? And Texas Milsim, Anthony's not here. I'm triggered. Would you like to respond to any of these?
Well, I'm back. I don't know why you guys want me around. I don't either. I haven't figured it out, but I'm back. Vacation was great, and if I could leave again, I would. Sorry.
All right, so we're going to get to the usual show.
Let's pull a question out of her. Oh, okay, here we go.
I have got some bruises from Ballahack.
Dude, the bug bites are real from Ballahack. Evan Walker, first I flippin' love the vids. I wish I could be a part of the AMP crew one day. I'm getting back into Airsoft because of y'all and some other people. Well, that's good. I'm glad you're back.
We start off on a positive note.
I'm glad you're back. Cool. We tend to have fun. I mean, the big thing is that here with us, what we do... I'm going to take another one because that was a statement. Basically, what we do is we take it just serious enough when we need to. So, make things happen when we go play and make people's gameplay good. But at the same time, we take it just not serious enough to where I don't take it too personal.
We realize what it is, I think we tread that thin line of where you should be in this. What does Warren call it?
Spobby.
A spobby.
It's
or
a spobby.
A hort. We'll do spobby.
I like spobby better.
All
right. Ethan Hitman Blaze Ops. I like that name, by the way. Hey guys, so I have a Samapo Gear 6094, and the cummerbund that came with it is decent, but when I put it on tight enough for it to ride properly, I literally can't breathe. It doesn't give it all. I'm kind of a smaller dude, maybe slightly larger than Dom. What are some good cummerbunds with molly real estate on the sides that are comfortable to wear for long periods of time? I'm currently running the Faro Concepts Storage Elastic Cummerbund, but I need some more molly real estate. Thanks, keep up the great work and vids. Dom, thanks for the MP7. It's the bro that bought Dom's MP7. Well, here's the thing, about cummerbunds and stuff. Typically, there's not a lot of more molly real estate cummerbunds. Basically, it's whatever.
That's what I'm saying.
Whatever comes with it, and then all the aftermarket stuff is literally just smaller, lighter, more elastic, less molly, slicker.
The thing. I was gonna recommend he get the Faro,
but he's already got it.
But he's got it, and he's more. The only thing I could say is do what Dom actually did on his plate carrier and get those. Were they the pig? The molly slip-ons?
You could get the molly slip-ons for a.
That would probably be the only option, because if you're that tiny, you're gonna need the elastic to keep it cinched in tight.
He's also facing a volume problem. So the thing is molly has specific lengths and increments that it's built to, and he's small. So in order for it to be tight, he's subtracting potential molly real estate.
Your molly is actually getting pulled into the back flap or the front one, however you have it adjusted.
That's just a thing. So I don't know what to tell you, dude. I don't know how you would mount it. I prefer the Mayflower. I prefer the Mayflower APC cummerbunds to other brands.
If you haven't already, I'm assuming if you've been pulling them in and out, you know about the elastic in the back. So if you can't readjust that, stick with the Pharaoh and look at Dom's gear video. That might be your best option, is the slip-ons.
Yep.
If
You
they
could do
fit,
that.
I mean, if you think you're about his size, then that would work. It
Yep.
worked pretty well on him.
Yeah, I mean, normally people like subtract.
Yeah.
They don't.
Garrett Handley, would you guys consider coming to Long Island to play a game at one of the fields? And if so, when would you? Maybe.
Maybe, I don't know.
I
I
mean-
wouldn't. I'm not. I would never preclude any kind of close travel.
Yeah.
Like, cause here's
What's in Long Island?
yeah. Well,
Is that-
New York?
That's what I mean. I'm like, there's one I probably wouldn't want to go to.
Hashtag make Strike Force great again.
Ouch.
I've
mean,
never been there. That's all I hear, though.
I mean, if you
That's all I
watch
hear.
any number of these videos, you know our buddy Rich.
Richie's out there.
He's in New York. I mean, I'd love to go out there and see some of the other fields they have, if they have more. But, I mean, it's never not out of the option. It's just not on the docket right now.
That's a very
Yeah.
politically correct way of putting that.
Bam. Well, someone's got to keep you balanced. Go for
Hey,
it.
even though the emails were leaked, we're not pressing charges.
And now you know why people that work in politics have a $120K salary and a yacht. What?
I got another big
Quit pulling the
one.
big ones.
Oh.
My God.
All right, Alex Costa. Hey guys, I really need help with this. What options do airsoft players have for learning how to operate versus operators learning how to airsoft? I want to take my game to the next level, like actually learn how to hold my pistol correctly, work in a squad, clear a room, pretty basic stuff. I'm not a cop or in the Marines, so how can I get access
Very
to training
specific.
like this? Is there a service anywhere that caters to people without a firearms license? I just want to advance myself and my friends without joining the Army, and would like some training from an instructor, even if it is for a day. P.S. Love the vids. Thanks for the great custom work on my gun in the past.
Oh,
Well, cool.
Thanks for shipping it in.
Cool. First of all,
He's going to say joining the military is your easiest option for training. Pretty much.
well, okay. So the thing with training is that
Well, was he... Because it seemed like it bounced around. Is he looking more for airsoft training?
Okay, all
but
right,
then he
so
said
let me-
firearms, so does he want range training?
okay. First of all, like let me go backwards. So for you, if you live in America, you don't need a license to use a firearm. Okay, like we have a Second Amendment that allows you to own a firearm. There are some laws in some states that restrict when or how often or how many firearms you can buy in a given amount of period, stuff like that, or the types of firearms that you can buy. But overall, you can buy a firearm in America, in most of the free states, as I call them, pretty handily. It's not
Yeah.
hard. So using a firearm and getting a hold of a firearm is completely dependent in America. Sorry for international dudes, but that's completely dependent on you, not and where you live, not like anything like that.
Yeah.
So getting training. First of all, the big thing with training is that depending on who you get it from, there is always going to be biasy. So bias. Sorry, plural is biasy. So basically, what it is that you're taking somebody at their word that they're a subject matter expert, and then they're teaching you how they feel things should be done. That doesn't mean that that's the right way to do things all the time. That doesn't mean that they're right. That doesn't mean that someone else is right or wrong because
Yeah.
of them. There's a lot of conflicting training going around, and there's a lot of people who say they're trainers and they teach people a lot of really bad things. A lot of things that if were used in a real light would get you killed. Like would straight up get you killed.
Yeah.
Now, there's a reason why the military and law enforcement have very strict regimes on how they train people. It's so that they can reduce civilian and collateral damage amongst their own people while still being combat effective. And it's about, the most simplistic, easy to do under pressure way of doing things.
Yeah.
But I would say that if you don't want to join the military and there's not a whole lot of airsoft focused training classes really like out there, if at all, what I would suggest you do is to go find really reputable trainers online.
Try to find
them on
dudes that
and
are like ex-military or police.
Find them on YouTube.
Yeah.
Learn the drills that they're suggesting and then try to replicate them.
Because there are noteworthy people in the community. Like, you can watch Travis Haley videos.
Haley.
You're not obviously
Pat
gonna,
McNamara.
Yeah, you're not going to shoot that fast, but the good thing those guys do is that they explain basics. They do drills that...
Being good, it has to do with getting the basics down so well that you start making the basics fail.
Yeah.
Basically what you're doing is you get so good at doing the basics that, like, when you try to apply them in a more extreme way, they fail. So then you have to push yourself to be better in order to get the basics back again.
So that's why those guys, I think, are really good. There's plenty more out there that I can't think of off the top of my head, but those guys, it seems like they're doing insane drills, and sometimes they are, but all of them still focus on that foundation you should have had built. So, I mean, that's something you could definitely look at.
If you really want to look at, like, how to clear rooms and how the Army and the Marines do it, definitely just go online on YouTube and watch them do it. You'll see them getting yelled at for all kinds of stupid mistakes that would get them killed, and at the very least, then you can have, like, maybe you won't have the muscle memory from completing it, maybe you won't actually, like, know exactly how to do a certain thing, but at least you'll get a broad brushstroke understanding of at least, like, okay, you go in, you look in the corners, you check behind desks, you know, you learn very broad brushstrokes, which will help a lot.
Yeah. Trickser on PC. Hey Amped, my question is, how many shots do you think I could get from a Tipman that has a 363 623 Orga using a 9045? Also, is that the barrel setup you recommend for the Tipman, or do you think a tight bore would be more beneficial to use with the Tipman? P.S. You guys are hands down my favorite group of BB warriors on YouTube. Keep up the great work.
I appreciate your praise, but I think it's misguided.
Oh, shush.
We're really not that great. We're really not. We're really not.
If you refer back to our videos again, the wide bore was something we didn't have that much of great success with, so I can't really comment on your shot count on that.
I mean,
it will obviously be way lower.
We had a very early gen Tipman.
Yeah.
And
well, the thing was, we didn't really tinker with flooding the barrel.
Well, the big thing is that in order to run an Orga with a Tipman, you have to, at least from my knowledge, from early gen Tipmans, it might be different now, but you had to do some adjustments on the different parts of the Tipman to make it be able to pump out the air volume necessary to correctly fire a BB with a wide bore barrel.
The chances are with ours, that thing was broken already.
So what we always suggest is we suggest a high quality tight bore. If you want my honest opinion, go buy the best.
Yeah.
Because you buy once, you cry once. I prefer PDI barrels.
Yeah.
That's my go-to inner barrel. In a pinch, I'll take a Promi. But, like, people who try to, like, ghetto bang, like, cheap barrels, when you buy cheap, you get cheap results. And if you want that percentage gain, if you're okay with not having that percentage gain, then buy something cheap. But if you want that, like, the absolute best and you're willing to get that extra 5 or 10% for X amount of money more, then you might as well just do it and get the high quality barrel. For wide bores, I obviously think that the Orgas are great barrels. I own 3 Orgas myself, and I really do like PDIs for my tight bores.
Yeah, so for yours specifically, check in the Tipman owners group. We're always going to refer people with Tipman questions that we don't know off the top of our head to there.
Yep.
Check in there. There's a lot of guys that did the mods for the wide bores, so that'd be your easiest place to check.
So,
Except a small one.
I'm just reaching in. I can't see. I can't pre-filter them.
Yes, you can.
Shamir Jones, that's the guy who's on there too.
Mm-hmm.
Hey guys, I've been watching the show for quite a while now, and there's a question I thought of not too long ago, and I don't think it's been asked yet. My question is, how hard or easy is it to get a partnership with a company to carry their products? Thank you for always putting out entertaining and honest content. From Shane. A partnership with a company to carry their products, as in like a business.
See, that's what I was wondering. Is that or a weird way to word a sponsorship?
Are we rewording the term for sponsorship?
These ants are on fire today. I don't think he would. To carry, I'll go by that terminology.
Yeah, basically you have to set up
products.
for a retailer, you have to set up a wholesale account, which you need a business license where it's applicable, and how you apply for a business license depends on where you live.
You basically need a physical business location. Can't just be
in
like
PA. It's actually really easy to get a PA business license. Like, I have one business already. I'm getting ready to do another one. It's actually really easy to get a PA business license.
Yeah.
But it's different for different places. You get a business license. Then what you do is you sign up for a wholesale account with the people that you want to pick up their products, and then they'll either approve or deny you. And if they deny you, you don't get to carry their crap. And if you do, then you can buy it from them at wholesale costs.
Yeah.
And then they'll tell you what to sell it at. So there you go. That's not too bad from a retailer side, anyways.
Yeah. It's about straight.
All right, guys. So now we're gonna take some questions. As Matt, sorry.
I'm getting here.
Whatever. We'll just leave it in the video because we're unprofessional.
Stop. Introduce me again.
That's Matt. Anyway, so what we're going to do is we're just going to take some questions from the live stream that's going on right now, and we're going to go through them, and we're going to answer them. So let's do it.
Oh, don't do that. Just put it. No. That's going to be awful. I'll read them to you.
Okay.
This will be awful.
Oh, someone said cucks. That's not nice.
Aw. Do you want to start from the top or the bottom?
I don't know. Just scroll through them until you see something that's interesting.
All right. I'm gonna be buried down here. Anthony's photography. No, it's his wife's.
No, it's actually my wife's.
Okay,
actual
we have
business, yes.
Jasper Osman. What's the best type of grenade for taking out vehicles?
Tags.
Yep.
Tags. They're expensive, but they're the best. The best thing about them is that they give either an audible or a visual response to you actually hitting it. So let's play the.
Plus, they're fun.
Let's play the devil's advocate game here for a second, and let's say that we're at a nondescript event organizer, doesn't matter which one, and let's say that the tags are allowed. Okay. Or also that foam rockets are allowed. If you're in a vehicle and you're driving around, you're bouncing, and it's, you've covered up the windows so that people can't shoot in, and you're doing all this stuff right. You're bouncing around and it's making all this noise. Someone hits you with a Nerf rocket, you generally will never even notice.
Yep. You
And
usually
then
have to have a ref from the outside call it
And then
in.
usually what happens is whoever shot the rocket gets to be like, they're not calling their hits, they're cheating. When in actuality, chances are they just never heard it, felt it, saw it.
Yeah.
It's
And then there's
like-
other companies that will, like, if you go to take a vehicle out, you can only hit it in the front so the driver can see, which is really stupid, I think.
Because then the guy has to get out in front of the vehicle.
Yeah, and then if they have a
present
gunner,
himself to either be shot or
Yeah.
to be hit by the vehicle.
ran over. Yeah.
So
No bueno.
what do the tags do? There are the foam tags, and the foam tags or whatever. You can reuse those. I tell people to buy a set of those and use those for practice so that they can get their arcing down right. But with the tag rounds, you have ones that explode, and you have ones that are chalk that mark. And that is so beneficial for gameplay because then you can confirm.
chalks are.
You can confirm with either hearing or with at least visual with the chalk that you have hit the target, and that is so important because that just eliminates everything that eliminates arguments is good. I know that we all want to be safe, but let's just be fair here. Anything that could cause an argument is not good for gameplay and should just be ignored.
Yep.
So
Universal Airsoft. Can you go to the battlegrounds tonight? I'll be there. Smiley face.
I'm gonna be eating dinner. Sorry,
Yeah.
my wife is cooking some steaks tonight. I am not going.
He's
I'm not going. Sorry, man.
He's referring to, for all the
Local
non-Pittsburgh
field
guys,
here,
there's
yeah.
a local field that Wednesday nights they do
Adult night.
which is 16 and up, and
is
they
where we
basically lax the rules. So there's no meds, and we honestly prefer that. We try to go on Wednesdays because we get to test some of the guns and stuff out. We're not going
Violence.
tonight because
We like violence.
yeah, I like burning people from up close.
I like getting burned and burning
Yeah.
dudes. That's just what it is.
We just got back from Malahek stuff. We broke most of our guns that we took. 'Cause, yeah, that's what we do.
Oops.
So yeah, we're not gonna make it tonight. Probably in the couple upcoming weeks, we're gonna try and make it there. G36 Airsoft Tech. What's your opinion on EDGI barrels?
They're very high, but my problem is
High
that
on what?
my opinion is very high.
Okay.
My opinion is very high of them, but the problem is that they're also very expensive. And up until recently, they didn't make them out of stainless steel. They still made them out of brass.
Yeah.
Which my problem with that is that
It's the new ones that are really nice, right?
yeah, they've all been really nice. They're machined to a very high tolerance. I just think that EDGI is a brand that availability comes and goes, whereas PDI has always been around. So I will still always choose the PDI. I have brand loyalty to that. I'm a little biased, I'm not going to lie. It's just that PDI, I've never had a bad barrel. They've never been made of any kind of material that I second guess like brass. And then they are always available. They don't come and go. EDGI are good barrels, but sometimes they dry up for a while and they're hard to get in. And they're hard to buy. So I prefer something that I can literally just go click and then it's on its way. Simple. Barrels themselves are very nice,
Lost
though.
one. Pyatt. What are, in your opinion, the best boots on the market?
Ooh, see, I've done a
You always
boot.
gotta ask boot questions, and this guy has like a boot boner over here.
I've worn all the different brands of boots, and we've done this before in another video, so I'm not gonna list all of like the brands.
Tree's trying to kill us.
But like, let's just be fair. Let's just like, if you go to REI and you look at the boot wall, I've worn a style of their boots. Like, that's just a thing. Right now, currently, I wear Loa Renegades. I'm a very big fan of those. I really love the way that the tongue folds out of them. They're really good on wide and flat feet, but they have removable.
Yep.
They have removable insoles so that you can change them out for whatever type of feet you have. Gore-Tex, waterproof, full leather.
Yep.
They're great.
I'm on the Salomon XA Pros right now. Immediate, quick, honest guys review. I would give them a 9 out of 10. The only thing that really bugs me is the tongue, the way the lips come up around your ankle, because what you consider those not the half height, whatever it is. Those are
like 3/4 height boots.
the 3/4 height. The way they come up is very, very nice and supportive, but the tongue doesn't sit in them quite right because they have the cinch, like Kevlar straps. By the way, those are fucking
I'm actually
amazing.
thinking of getting a set of those straps.
Oh,
and then
those are
replacing
fucking amazing.
Replacing my boot laces with those and just running those.
That's
'Cause
literally
those are pretty cool.
my only gripe with those is that you can cinch them down, but the tongue finds a way to like peel out, so your pants always end up not just sitting over them properly.
They sit inside the boot.
The top can sit, or the front sits inside,
and then all
that
the
kind
gunk,
of that bugs me a bit.
Well, then all the gunk and stuff would get into
Yeah.
your boots, which would be obnoxious. I know a lot of people who wear out Solomons very quickly too.
Literally my only downfall with those.
Because that
but
was what I
then-
had with my Solomons. I wore them out so fast. I was very upset by it.
Yeah,
Very upset by it.
Let's see. We'll do. I saw one other one in here.
Sistema's worth it.
Logan Brown. Sistema's worth it. I think people like because GMR and it's Sistema. I mean,
here's the thing with Sistemas. Sistemas are not really built for general airsoft play.
they're not built
They're
for the
training
longevity of
They're training
airsofters
rifles.
whooping on them. Yeah.
They're training rifles, and they're meant to be put in the hands of departments and training units where they're going to be maintained and taken care of, and then used as training weapons because they simulate all of the functions of an AR while still using BBs, which is kind of cool. And because they're battery, you don't have to constantly keep gassing them up or worrying about cooldown or anything like that. So
guys, law enforcement agencies that gives them more options weather-wise to use them.
So the problem is that
they're also
Sistemas perform very well, but the big issue with them is the maintenance. That's where people constantly let their Sistemas down because it's just like any kind of military equipment. You need to maintenance it and properly within the expected maintenance cycles for it to survive. And most people don't do that, and that's why you see so many blown up Sistemas everywhere.
That's why they all sound so weird because like dudes always have to have the motors rewound and all this crazy shit. I'm like, oh,
because they need that maintenance cycle, and people don't put them through that, and then they fall apart. Now, dudes who know how to keep their Sistemas running keep them running for years. I know a lot of people who've owned Sistemas upwards of 6-7 years straight now. And they just run, and they shoot really great. I mean, granted, there's huge buy-in costs. They're super expensive. But like I said, they weren't meant for regular play. They weren't meant for you to like go to like an open play and just zip
They weren't
around.
meant to be just hammered on for like thousands of rounds.
Yeah, they
without
were maintenance.
Maintenance or at least checking them over.
So they shoot really good.
Oh,
They're very realistic. They take real steel parts. I like a lot of the features on them. Downfall, super expensive, hard maintenance, replacement parts are expensive.
I think the easiest way to like one sentence that is that for the amount you pay, especially for a brand new one, their reliability, the ratio the gap is very crazy, I guess is the easiest way to put it. So we're going to get back to the regular questions. I have to pull them.
Yeah, I think you just go ahead and pull it. I don't really care.
It's my turn.
I've been just slowly dismantling these sticks.
Come on.
Like I'm just making this pile of wood
anywhere
chips.
through these. Guy Evan 9393. Hey Amp, quick question. Is MSW designed by Josh Warren to have a small militia to fight off the globalization of the New World Order, Illuminati, or the lizard people?
Oh, Evan guy. I love you. I believe I believe Josh Warren has created the MSW to form a highly dedicated group of milsim survivalists that will go out and do his bidding when the new BBwarz order comes to pass.
God, we're awful. Just pull a question
We're
and
terrible
move on
people.
past this one.
I love Josh though. He's a good dude.
He's fam.
He's one of my
fam.
bros.
He's a good dude.
Oh, again?
Stop. Why did I put these in here?
All right. Well, I can read them fast though.
Yeah.
Jared Sheldon. Hey guys, love the show. I have a few questions. I have a question about my barrel. JK, I wouldn't do that to you. Number 1. Where do you get your call sign patches made, like the IR ones with Velcro on them? Ranger Joe's. 2. I heard you mention in the last.
IR ones.
No, they're on there too.
Oh, are they?
Yeah. I heard you mention in the last episode that you guys do training, and I was wondering what training do you do? That's the name
That
of-
was a joke.
Yeah, the training thing, they were totally fucking with you.
The only training we do is like some of us
I have
try to like
training.
work out and shit.
I have training, and
But do you do it now?
and I do PT.
Do you do training now?
We do some at MSW. Cadre do.
To each other?
Yeah. We teach each other about stuff we don't know.
Okay.
So that way we're all more well-rounded. Kind of like how I was the only one
I just
that knew.
wanted to run with that being we're fucking
But
losers and that's a joke.
do we as airsofters doing airsoft training? No.
Like amp? No.
No.
We literally like, hey, we're doing this thing. What guns can I use? What camo do I wear? Okay, and figure it out.
I hope I don't
We
suck.
kind of just bumblefuck around on the field until
I
we
hope
figure
I
it
don't
out,
suck.
though.
Usually takes about an hour of playing before we stop sucking.
Before we gotta figure anything out. But yeah.
Number 3. Do you think that people aren't considered milsim if they run cheaper gear like Condor? Because I got some hate for calling my loadout a milsim loadout when I am #baller on a budget. I will be upgrading soon. Okay, so the biggest thing when it comes to repro gear, when people always misconstrue the term milsim, and it's a weird word that doesn't. It's whatever.
It's generalized way too much.
It's
now.
generalized way too much, and people have a lot of preconceived notions of the definition of it.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what I would say is if the type of stuff that you run facilitates the rule set for the game that you are playing,
Yep.
then it is what it is. So if you play like MSW events and you wear Condor gear, you're going to have a bad time because it's going to break all that stuff. But if you go to a general like milsim type event and it fits that criteria and it works for you and it doesn't fall apart and it does what it needs to do,
Yeah.
then it is exactly what it is. And if those types of events are called milsim events, then guess what? It's a milsim loadout, right?
Yeah.
Right? There's a lot of good gear actually made by some of the cheaper repro companies. I wholeheartedly recommend buying American-made gear personally because you're feeding Americans.
Yeah.
That's a big thing to me to, actually make sure that people have food to put on the table and money to put their kids through college. And buying American gear means I'm helping people locally in my country, which is a big deal. And I suggest you do that if you're like in Great Britain. I suggest you go buy gear that's made in Great Britain. If you're from wherever, Australia, I suggest you buy Sword and Flat Attack. Like that's just how it is because you're supporting your local people and taking care of them.
Yep.
But if it works for you, it works for you. And if it does what it needs to do, it does what it needs to do. If dudes are giving you hate for it, I mean, chances are they either need to feel validated because they spent too much money on something they're not using enough, or they need to feel validated because they bought something that they thought would make them feel cool, and it's not really necessarily doing that unless they tear you apart. So they're just scrubs. Just deal with it.
Yeah.
And then number 4, finally, do you think the term milsim is overrated or underused? Actually, that was part of the last one. Thanks. #no barrel question. # check out my Instagram at East Coast
You snuck a
Recon.
plug-in.
# tactical hashtags. # free Anthony. Okay, so I think the term milsim, basically, since this industry is kind of fluid in how like things move around and how things change,
Yeah.
the term milsim is very fluid as well. And I don't know necessarily because if you want my honest opinion, there's some event organizers who call their games milsim who I don't consider milsim at all.
Yeah.
And then there's some events like Milsim West in comparison, who I think do a pretty good job of replicating at least the 40 to 72 hour boots on the ground, like actually going and doing a mission experience, which I think is important. That's actually because there's a lot of companies that are like, oh, we're Milsim just because we have mid-cap rules and we
that's the
force
thing is
you to
have to
shoot
remember, it's
semi-auto.
like-
I'm like, that's not.
Well, that's the thing is like
That's not it.
those
That's
back
not
in
it
the
at all.
day
Were
the Milsim
Those were
rules.
it, and that's what I'm saying.
the
Like
thing,
the term
yeah.
is fluid, so
Yeah.
basically,
People take it and adapt it and make it their own, and
They
then
change
that
it to-
happens. Then people realize like who's doing this, and they're like, "Oh shit, these guys were actually in the military, and they're making milsim, so it makes more sense, right? I'm a civilian. I'm stupid. I don't know. So yeah,
toes.
damn you."
Toes.
The Bad Channel 8, when using the dual 13 rig, that's right, would it be better to have both tanks open at once or have one closed and switch to the other when the first is low?
Run them both open at the same time because you don't get any benefit from switching.
Yeah, you don't. Yeah, the only thing you can do with closing is if you get the sealed UFA plug, if you want to run just one, you can use the rig, and then you can put like a different size tank on.
Yeah.
You'll just have an awkward, but
I don't think that's what he's asking. He's asking if I keep one closed and then I run one till it's empty.
No.
If I open the other one, will it make it better? No. Run them both open at the same time because it's the same amount of shots. The only thing you're doing is making you have to take it off and then fiddle with it and then put it back on your back.
Basically, what
just keep them both
happens
open
with that rig and that setup is that
you
don't trickle from both tanks. It drains one, and then the other one fills it.
Basically, what happens is both tanks are outputting into one source, and then that one source is where the regulator goes. So it's taking from them both at the same time.
Okay.
So it's basically treating both of those dual 13 tanks as one volume because they're both open at the same time and they're the same pressure.
Yeah.
And they can't go. The valves aren't backwards.
We should just call it the damn. Yeah, never mind. I always mix that up.
Yeah, the valves don't go backwards. They only go one way.
Think of it as a 26-13.
It's a 20. You basically
yeah.
You're taking two 13 tanks and making a 26 cubic inch tank, basically.
Right. Yeah.
That's all it is. Nothing too spoopy about it. Oh, another big one.
Spoopy. My God, how many did I put in?
Jake Riley, hey Empt, as a guy who runs Russian Kit, I've gotten a lot of shit from guys who say that I'm a terrorist and not American. Well, that's fucking weak, but okay.
What guys are you talking to?
These assholes. With our tensions with Russia growing higher every day, where do you see the Russian gear, Russian culture enthusiast community in the U.S. going? I know this issue doesn't exclusively apply to Russian enthusiasts. I see people who collect Nazi, Confederate, and Chinese memorabilia get called out too. Hashtag cultural appropriation, hashtag squat for Putin. Okay, so here's the thing. The only reason tensions are... Well, let's just do a little geopolitical shit for a second. The only reason tensions are growing between Russia and America is that America's used to being the biggest kid on the block, and we're slowly kind of... And I wouldn't say relinquishing our superpower control, but what we're doing is we're basically kind of just like... We're letting some things slide where normally we wouldn't.
Yeah.
Okay? And so obviously another big nation on the planet is Russia, so they're stepping in to fill that void. Hence, like the deal with Syria, where the Russians are coming from one side helping the Syrian government, and then we're coming from the other side helping the Iraqis and the Peshmerga. so we kind of stepped out of the way in Syria, so they kind of filled the void. That's just what it is. Tensions. The only reason I could call those tensions is because basically like a lot of people both in Russia and America have that I want to be the biggest kid on the playground mentality, and they kind of get offended whenever people like try to step on their toes. Going to Airsoft now, it should not fucking matter at all.
Yeah.
Because if people were worried about being offensive towards people, then back when I first started Airsoft, every game was about being in the Middle East, and there would be a group of dudes who would show up in very racist attire towards Muslims, and it would just be awful. It would be cringy as someone who went in country and actually like worked with and fought against people of the Islam faith, that like it is just super offensive. It is super offensive. So like, you know what? There's always going to be some kind of cringe, but no one decided to call them out because they were the bad guys, right?
Yeah.
So, but they wasn't taken too seriously because it was a racist caricature.
And things were...
Russians, on the other hand,
Back then things were heated too.
Russian kit and stuff like that is more realistic. Overall, there's some goofy dudes who are part of it, but overall it's more realistic, and that triggers people because it's not some racist caricature 90% of the time. It's actually just,
it's white people fighting white people.
It's white people fighting white people, and all of a sudden I can't just make a brown person a bad guy.
Yeah. Sometimes it's hard to tell.
So then they're gonna pick fights with you just because. Now those dudes are turds. Yeah. Because I don't know about you, but if we all live in America or respective countries, wherever you're from, and we're all tax-paying, good-hearted, kind people who aren't breaking the laws, it shouldn't matter what fucking BBwarz shit you wear to play BBwarz. I don't...
That's the only thing is he being poked at by people within that community or people outside of it?
It sounds like he's getting poked on by people outside of his community. Because
I could totally understand
the Russian culture of Airsoft, those dudes, other than fucking with each other about how ate up their kid is and making themselves do burpees,
smoking each other,
they don't really care too much about guys inside their own clique already. But like, and that goes along with wanting to be a part of anything that's considered taboo or not, or something that's unorthodox. Orthodox being the norm, which in America is everybody running DevGru CAG Ranger SEAL kits, and then doing something unorthodox, running Slav kit. You know, that's just, you're gonna cause static just because some dude's gonna be like about it.
Yeah.
And it's just, he's a turd. Don't worry about it.
Jacob Pyrie, you guys are awesome. Great work, boys. I work at a hobby store in Northern Illinois. I'm in the delayed entry program in the Navy. Praying on making it to Caspian Gap. If you guys go NATO, can I get a picture with you guys?
We're going.
Always go NATO.
Always go NATO.
If you want a picture, you can.
Dead Dog Society.
Or get an impromptu gear video. If there's any way I can promote you guys, I will, because you guys are honest, plus the inner D-bag and me loves no bullshit rants. Much love from the Midwest. Matt's beard. I need to shave again. It's gross. Multi-Glam in Hobbytown, USA, Rockford. I'll give him a shout out on that one.
Hobbytown, USA.
I mean, we'll be there.
Yeah, man, we'll be at Caspian Gap.
We'll be doing our usual NATO stuff. If
We might be rolling out a special kit for that, but we'll be on NATO for sure.
yeah, Stu and Zach might do the Russian thing. It depends if Stu and Zach can make it together. But you know, it's
Zach
Zach
is our switch hitter. He'll go on NATO or Rus 4. And Stu
He's the inside agent.
is our straight Slavaboo.
Yeah.
So like Stu,
I don't foresee him doing NATO anytime.
If Stu doesn't go, Zach will go NATO. If Stu does go, Zach will go Russian.
Yep.
And they'll
Makes
have
sense.
a ball regardless because I'm a barrel of monkeys.
Okay.
I just
Draw
like
another one, Dad.
I just like to yell at kids. It's very fun.
I think you're hunting the big ones.
I'm doing it now to trigger you. Devin
You just
Freeland.
eat up more time.
Hey, Am, to love the show. I have 3 questions. One, the other day, other than the Haley D3CR, are there any other chest rigs that fit onto the 1-inch ITW buckles? Wondering because I have an adapt pack and I'm not a huge fan of the D3CR. Yes, there's a ton of them.
Most
Mayflower, Plat Attack. Almost all like the high-end gear companies, when they have their chest rigs, they'll literally say what buckles they use. And like if you buy any Mayflower ones, those are all 1-inch because they're the ones that started that craze. Mayflower did start that.
Yep.
So like you just go look. It's like 90% of them, man.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Secondly, do you personally run hydro rigs? I do and I don't. Sometimes I use Nalgene bottles and sometimes I run a bladder. It just depends.
Yeah.
As for mounting hydro rigs to plate carriers, I don't do that. I don't like something that I can't take off of my back.
Yeah, I run Nalgene's normally, and then I just picked up a Source to replace my disgusting Camelback.
Yeah, I use an Osprey 3-liter bladder, which it's really nice for guys who wear backpacks. It has a contoured piece of plastic on the back of it.
Yeah.
So that makes it so that it doesn't like make a big bulgy thing on your back. Finally, will you carry an adapter for the Nalgenes to have a tube and mouthpiece? Thanks. We do not. The Source one literally is for pouring water bottles into their bladders. But we do not carry a Nalgene adapter, but you can go get those at REI. I've seen them. There's a couple different brands. It's actually really nice. You can also get ones for the Camelback plastic water bottles as well. So those are also pretty cool.
We just don't carry any Nalgene stuff.
We don't have any Nalgene
That's just all
products.
stuff we personally buy.
Yeah, that's all personal purchase. We don't have that at this shop. But I will tell you where you can get it. REI.com. Check it out. It's a good place to go.
Abbott Kai K. Will the AMP team be attending Breaking Bad 2? We're definitely planning on it.
I hope so.
It's the MSATO game. It's in August 20th, that weekend-ish.
Yeah, I should be there barring any MSW commitments.
Yeah, we're definitely planning on that. We're really looking at hooking up with MSATO and making BBwarz love. We went to the ones, and that was a blast. So
It was definitely hilarious. Like, the Shrikening.
If the rest
The video doesn't do that
that
justice. We shot so many people during that. Oh my god.
Yeah, so that we're definitely planning on it.
Emmanuel Perez, I remember in your reviews on the Titman there were some kinks that needed fixing. Is there an ETA on those fixes or has nothing been announced? Basically what Titman does is they slowly roll out general fixes as they
minor fixes
as they do batches of guns.
Yeah.
So just because our number 000377 weapon has kinks on it doesn't mean that the guns in the 5500s and plus that are coming out now have those same quirks, or any of the guns in between there. Some of them will be different along the lines, and it'll be very small, minute changes where they'll kind of change the way they're casting the receiver, or the types of metals they're casting the receivers out of so they don't break as often.
Mostly, the majority of it's internal airflow adjustments and fixes.
O-rings, different O-rings.
You'll still most likely have to do the barrel and some sort of hop-up fix to it to get it to shoot a little better. But
Yep. That's going to happen.
Check out a lot of stuff KP's doing, the advanced airsoft. Like the heavy bolt I always recommend that as an upgrade to the Tippmann. There's
I like the
all
heavy
kind
bolt
of
well.
like there's the rate of fire kit, all sorts of like shims and all sorts of stuff. So it's really more what you want to do with it. Do you want to make it a DMR, a standard assault rifle? Do you want to do more CQB high speed stuff? Like you got to kind of figure out what you want and then adjust what you need to for that.
Word.
I'll do
One more.
Put that down. Tubbs McGubs. Hey guys, I have a question for Matt. What upgrades would you recommend for the Crytek LVOA to make it a beast with making it HPA? Bring back Matt's face pubes back. Make Airsoft great again.
They're there.
I'm gonna shave. LVOA, if I personally had one and had to put a drop-in system, since I would want to do a fusion engine for tunability, but since the Crytek has the different selector stuff, I would most likely just go with the F1, I think.
Well, okay, so other than the external set, I own pretty much the same gun.
That thing, yeah.
I own
except for the rail.
Except for the rail, I own all of the same stuff. I have a Crytek SPR with an HPA system in it. My gun shoots pretty dang freaking good. You got to use it this weekend at Ballahag. My gun shoots really good. I'd say torso target, 200, a little over 250 feet, right around there is a body size target, not a torso target.
Yeah.
And I can whale them out to 300 if I get a good, if I'm allowed to chrono a little hot, I can wing them out there even further.
Yeah.
What I run in mine is I run a jack. I run a Polar Star jack.
We're going to run out of time on this.
I run a Retro Arms hop-up, a Modify flat bucking, the Amped Purple flat nub, the ones that we make for ourselves, and then the PDI 605 barrel. That's what I run.
We're going to answer more live questions.
More live question time. All right. Matt's going to pick some questions. Come up with some good ones.
All right, so we're going to answer more live questions.
This is live question time again. We're going to do more live
The
questions.
Pelican preachings, V2.
V2.
All right.
Don't get me on a
Scroll through
soapbox.
these. Let's go. I saw G36 Airsoft Tech again. Will there be an honest guy's review on the Bolt? If so, when?
Here, see, our honest guys reviews take a long time because we don't just pick it up, use it once, and then put it down, and then never touch it again, and then write a review about it.
Yeah, we don't just do
Like
a
we're
review.
still
like, hey,
doing, we're still doing the F1.
The currently, like, sort of ones we're focusing on, the F1, the LVOA. If we would, I'm not gonna say anything. That might give it away if we would stop breaking it.
Hoops.
The Bolt, to be fair, like, it would fit under our kind of standards because we've had ours for a year, but it's a prototype.
So we can't grade it the same way we can grade a
from talking with
production
Wolverine a
model.
bunch, it is slightly different from the production. So we don't want to do a review on something that people will never actually see or use. We do want to use it as a comparison to how upgraded the new one is. So yes, we will do one, but you may not see it for a while because we haven't even installed our new one yet. You will see an install video pretty soon, actually.
Yeah, actually.
So, because that's definitely a different install that you have to do. So you will see an install Pleb to Pro pretty soon. Review, can't really say.
But it should happen.
Lucas Retton wants to know why his dad doesn't like him.
Well, you probably symbolize the death of his dreams.
Aw.
Because when you were born, that basically meant that he couldn't travel around and bang random chicks and do lots of drugs. So you kind of like made him adult, and so he probably resents you for that. Sorry. Sorry. It's just what it is. It's the way it is with my dad.
Pyatt again. Will you be at Blind Fury? And he also wants to know about that the TF-150 OIA game.
Oh. I don't know if I'm going to the Ohio Indoor Airsoft event. I'm probably not. I'm like 90% sure I'm not. I'm going to be honest with you.
I don't even know when that is.
I don't either. Blind Fury, I should be going. I should be going to Blind Fury. I don't see why not. I can't think of a reason why I wouldn't be going to Blind Fury right now.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh my God.
You just block someone with someone being a turd?
Some dude's asking some shit questions. Dom's practicing land nav right there.
Hey, man. Dom wanted to know how to do land nav, and I told him if he wanted to be a squad leader at MSW, he needed to learn how to do it. So I taught him. He did pretty good.
Schmear Jones. Will there be an IGL for the F1? Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Actually, we were going to refer to that in a little bit, actually. We're going to talk about that later.
It's right there.
It's right there.
Let's get back up here.
It's so nice outside.
Rich is in here.
I'm glad we're outside.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so nice outside. I hate being in the cooped up office where it's all... I hate being just sitting inside all day. Makes me all sad.
Let's see. It's just a bunch of random dumb shit in here.
We told you guys to come up with good questions. What is this?
Y'all just want to shit post on these things.
Ugh.
I mean, you can go ahead and do that.
You're ruining your chance. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, there was another one. I forget the dude's name. I saw it fly by. There it is. Matthew Gruen. How old do you have to be to play at MSW? There we go.
You can get in with a parent as young as 13, and your parent has to be there. You can play 16 and under, or 16 and over, without a parent being there.
Mm-hmm.
But they have to sign for it, and they have to be within. I think. Well, they have to. They don't have to be on the field, but the requirement is that they have to be within like distance in case you need to go home because you're not an adult.
Yeah, and you also have to do all the like notarized.
You have to do all kinds of
stuff.
notarized waivers and stuff like that. But yeah, you can get into MSW technically under certain circumstances. It's very rare, but under certain circumstances, as young as 13.
Let's see, Jeremiah. What makes you more sad, Ballahack Mud or California Speed Softers?
Oh man, they're both pretty bad.
Aw.
I don't give a shit about California Speed Softers, though. To be fair, I don't
really have any.
They don't really bother me, and they don't interact. I don't interact with them, so I don't care. They can play however they want. That's their business. It doesn't bother me at all. The mud in my boots, though, still is pretty gross.
I can smell his boots from here.
They've been airing out for like 3 days now, and they
to
still
be fair,
haven't,
it wasn't really Ballahack mud. It was more like Ballahack waist-deep swamp water.
I have so many random strange bites and stuff all over my body. I don't know what they're from.
I might die soon from all of these.
I don't know what they're from. I think I'm dying.
Lucas Retton. Also, are Gen 1 Polar Stars still good?
Yes.
If you have one with all the original parts,
if you have a Gen 1 fusion engine with all of the original Gen 1 parts in it,
Ooh.
Those are so good. That was the best the fusion engine ever was.
Oh, sorry. So our buddy Rich was your favorite airsoft gun you ever owned and why? One of our sales guys, Dom. None of the guns you've ever owned, Rich. Oh, they're fighting on the live chat.
So, okay, the reason we're teasing Rich is because he gets a new gun and all of the accessories that you can possibly buy for it, I'd say about every 2 months. He has a whole new gun, whole new system, and all the parts for it. And then he only uses it at like one game, and then you never see it again.
Yep.
So we mock him all the time for that. Best gun I've ever used, still to this day, despite me having all of my problems with it, it's shot the best, was my Mark 18 fusion engine. That gun shot so good. I don't use it anymore just because I need to do a lot of maintenance on it, and I have 2 jacks, and they're stupid easy to do maintenance on, so I don't even have to care about my fusion.
Where is your other one?
It's at home.
Is it in anything?
Yeah, it's in that M16.
It is?
Yeah.
Oh.
So I have a Jack Scar, which Richie helped me procure. I have a Fusion Engine M16 A2, old school M16. And then I have my SPR Jack.
There's 2 more. G36 Airsoft Tech again. Funniest moment you have had in your entire airsoft career.
Ooh,
so
dude.
Does that mean professional?
Oh,
career.
are we gonna throw that like on my time since I've been doing them for videos and stuff?
Oh.
Because there's so much shit that gets cut out of our videos that you never see because
so
it's
much
so cringy.
Random crap that happens.
So cringy and so embarrassing that I'm just like never sees the light of day. No.
Wow.
Well, okay, we can just go over things that typically happen because there's so many cringy moments.
He didn't say cringy. He said funny.
Well, they're funny to them. They're just cringy to me.
Well,
it's a matter of
funny
perspective.
to you then.
Well, then that would be me making fun of someone else.
Okay.
The funniest thing I've seen someone else do was at the Zussman Irene. I watched a dude try to jump from one building to another, and he was like on a low wall trying to jump into a window on the second floor of another building, and he just hit the wall flat and then fell. And I cried. I laughed so hard I cried. Like I just he was a bigger dude.
She tried to GMR a fucking
He was a
roof and it
bigger
didn't
dude.
work.
He was a bigger dude and thought no one was watching, so that he could get away with, because you're not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to jump from one window to the other. He tried to pull some shit, and he like skittered along. He climbed up. Well, first of all, I was impressed he got up on that wall. Then he tried to skitter along the top of it, and then he jumped, and like you could see that moment in his face where he realized that this was gonna end badly. And it was right when his hands touched the windowsill, because he realized that he was going to hit the wall and bounce. So he had his hands on the windowsill, and he had this look on his face where he was just like... And then he just face planted and then fell like 2 stories, like, and landed on his back. And then, like, he didn't want to get in trouble, so, like, he just kind of limped away. He didn't, like, ask for help or anything. And I just was sitting next in the building across the street, and I was just crying. I was laughing so hard.
Well,
Oh, man, it was so funny.
I can't think of anything.
Why you do this?
I've seen plenty of dumb shit like that, but nothing comes to mind. So.
Oh, that one was so good. Now some stuff that routinely happens to me. I fall a lot. At Battlehack, my goggles were so fogged I turned and ran into a tree and ate it in the swamp. I got stuck in a murder hole one time because my backpack was too big.
We'll do one more.
I shot myself in the face. I tried to pie around a corner too fast one time, and I did the little like snap thing, kind of like to come around, and I shot, and then it came right back and smacked me in the face.
That's always fun.
Gave myself a bloody nose.
Shot myself in the finger with the jack. That didn't feel good. Like point blank, like finger was in the barrel. That went numb for a while.
Safety.
We'll do one more.
One more, just cause.
Shamir Jones again. Thoughts on the LBX lock and load chest rig with an assault pack?
It's all right. It's not my go-to, but it's not terrible.
Yeah, it's whatever.
It's whatever.
All right.
It'll work fine for whatever you're probably going to use
Back to
it
more
for.
regular questions. Is it your turn?
I don't know, but I'm sitting here, so I'll just grab it.
There's another lovely round of live questions.
Derperator, how do you guys feel about 3D printing kits for airsoft guns, i.e. making Destiny revolvers, Gears of War guns, and so on? I think they only have a place in cosplay and messing around in short games. Love to hear your opinions on what weird gun would you like to see. Keep up the good work. I think the biggest thing with weird guns is that it has to be within the spirit of the game that you're playing. So, if you're playing at Revelations, the weirder the better, because it's hilarious. It's an apocalypse game at Battlehack. You can do whatever you want. It's cool. Our buddy Brett literally made a Fallout plasma rifle.
Oh my god.
And it was so cool.
And apparently he's going to try and outdo himself for this year's
he's excited,
final rev.
dude.
So, holy shit.
Yeah, I was going to try to see if I could make a laser rifle.
Better get going.
Yeah.
We only got 6 months left.
I only have 6 months, and Brett's already had like a year head start on me.
Yeah.
But like, now, let's say you want to build like a Fallout plasma rifle, for example, like Brett, but then you take it to MSW. I'm literally going to laugh you off the field. As staff, I'm going to tell you to go away and never come. So what it is that you have to understand that when people go to certain games, they expect certain types of things, and your ticket isn't more valuable than someone else's ticket. So you shouldn't do things that will devalue someone else's play.
Yeah.
Because they are also there to enjoy an experience and to have a good time and play a game. And just because you want to run your fish gun around that looks like a Star Wars blaster, because you like it doesn't mean everyone else is okay with you doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a community effort to have a good experience, right? And it's all about everybody working together, and you being a special snowflake
Yep.
tends to ruin the community for all of the other players, so don't be a dick. Now, do I think that's cool looking? 3D printed stuff? Cool. I saw a dude with a 3D printed light machine gun at one game.
When I first read that question, I thought of more like things of that nature. It could be really useful, but
Oh,
again,
yeah.
like for like making like video game,
No, and
movie
I'm all-
guns, it's totally awesome.
Or like,
It's-
for example, like hidden camera mounts, like
Yeah,
the brain exploder stuff. All about that, because then it helps with the immersion of the weapon looking realistic while still being practical.
yeah,
So like you can put your cameras on it for all of your YouTube fame, attention seeking, and then you can put it all on there. But people don't need to know what it is because it's in
Yeah.
a PEC box, and that's really nice. I like that a
Mhm.
lot. Or like if they don't make certain parts for a gun that you want, but you can modify another gun to look like that, then you can do it. Like guys who want to build Mark 48s, there's no real Mark 48s on the market, but they can take a GMP Mark 46 and maybe 3D print some parts for it and make it look like a Mark 48.
yeah.
And then that would be super sweet. I'm all about that.
Yeah, there's for kits specifically though. It would have to be something that's like in high demand. Like I know the Halo rifle was a big one, but that was a completely built gun.
That really never really took off either.
That's
That
what
was
I
what's
mean.
funny.
It's like that was probably one of the most popular things you could have done because it was functioning as well. So it would be.
Or what about the Aliens Pulse rifle that you see every once in a while?
Yeah.
Because the GMP used to sell a kit, and I think
Oh God, that
I
thing,
think
yeah.
Matrix or whatever ripped it off, but they take a Thompson AEG, just like the real Aliens blaster was a Thompson for the
Yeah.
real gun, and they put it inside the Aliens Pulse rifle. But then you never see those.
Yeah.
Like maybe like once every like Great Blue Moon you see it.
So I'm probably gonna pull two because this one you just answered. But
Get back there.
Diego Ayala. Wow, I'm stupid.
Mhm.
Would you recommend a flat hop on a Crytek? I know you
Yes.
talked about this, but I want an in-depth look on it. What does Anthony run?
All right, once again, just for posterity, I run a PDI 605 barrel.
Jesus.
I run a Retro Arms CNC machined hop-up. Very nice hop-up. I like it a lot. On that CNC hop-up, I also have the upgraded arm set. So it comes with a pre-nubbed arm, but you can buy a 3-arm pack that comes with a hop-up or an R-hop style arm, a standard hop-up curve, which is the one I use, and then the pre-hopped arm again. For that, I use a modified flat soft type bucking, and then I use an amped custom purple flat hop nub, and it's one of the early test ones.
Yeah.
So it's not one of the production models. It's one
Do you
of
have
the
the
early.
roller bar in it?
Yes, I have the roller bar in it.
So I know I've seen a lot of people recently. Maybe they kind of.
You can run it either way.
Yeah.
Some people swear
Softer.
by the roller bar. I really don't notice a gain in using it or not using it.
Yeah.
So it was just in there, so I just put it in there.
Yeah.
So I didn't lose it.
And another comment. Brandon Harvey, Amped Airsoft, come to Canada, please. We'll give you maple syrup and actual beer.
I've been to Canada twice in the last 6 months.
Labatt Blue is not actual beer.
That's basically just yellower pea.
That's Canadian, like.
That's
Canadian Miller.
That's Canadian Bud Light. Like,
Yeah.
it's like- I love it when you go to Canada and then they're like, some places they call American beers domestic and some places they call American beers foreign. It's very funny.
Imported American beer.
Budweiser. And it's like Budweiser, and you just sit there and you're like, oh,
Oh,
God.
I'll have an American import.
At least get imports that are good, like Dogfish Head or something.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, I do definitely want to go to Canada. I feel like going there to
I love
play
Canada.
would
Canada's
be kind
great.
of odd.
yeah, I don't.
Just for all the weird FPS things.
Well,
I'd
the
have to
big thing
try
is
and
they have
learn.
so many things about bringing stuff back and forth across the border, and like, I don't want to dick with that.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
Catch my BBs. It's
There
very.
we go.
It's a very short. He's one of our bros, by the way. It's a very short but very poignant question. What keeps you guys going in airsoft?
He's got a couple of those kickers in there, so.
What keeps you going in airsoft?
Are you even going anymore?
We'll start with you, and then we'll see.
Besides the obvious of it being my job, this may either sound really sad or just the way life works out, but it's through airsoft that since I've started, it's through airsoft of the friends I've made are the ones that are still around, I think. There's still people I talk to, like I was like best friends with or friends with in high school or college, whatever, but they kind of fall to the wayside. You know, it's just what happens when you
Grow up.
You grow up, you leave school and stuff. It's not that
People change.
people change. You go one way, your friends go another way. You'll still like hang out or say hi to one another, but you kind of part ways. It's still
It can even be on good terms, but just you know,
when I was 14, the team I joined in Ohio, those are still guys that I talk to regularly. Whenever I'm back in Ohio, I try to hang out with. So, I mean, I think that's a big component of it. The other is just how much goddamn money you sink into it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think there's a certain tipping point where it's not that it's a bad thing where it's like, oh, I put money in it, guess I gotta stay. It's more so like it is an investment, and you just like to kind of see where it goes, because it is interesting to see like where I was 5-10 years ago compared to now, and even wondering where it'll be in the next 5-10 years. I think it's a good activity for myself. It kind of pings on certain, you know, if you want to really go down like the psych eval, like there's certain things about it that I enjoy, you know, with like maybe the collector aspect to it compared to the teching aspect, and like all sorts of little nitpicky things like that. It's kind of a culmination of all of those, and it just kind of is made itself my apparent hobby for the foreseeable future, I guess.
Mine's gonna be really brutal. All right, so
Brutally bad to yourself.
Let's just say it's just gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard to hear. It's what it is.
Wow.
The thing that keeps me in airsoft is working in the industry. I have a feeling that if I put up with the kind of stuff that I put up with being in the industry as an outsider, I would have stopped playing a long time ago. So the only thing that keeps me in is that it's my job to be in it. And I have a feeling that, in all honesty, if I stopped working for MSW and if I stopped working for Amped, I would probably sell at least all of the BB gun stuff that I have. I'd probably keep all my tactical gear because I'm really into real steel shooting as well. And I would just transition back into that because I used to be more heavily into that. I would probably stop. That's what keeps me in airsoft, because I just don't. I've pretty much done everything I'd ever want to do airsofting. So I don't. It's just kind of okay, cool. So I mean, not to detract from other people's experiences, but like, you know, I met a lot of friends in it. Some have come, some have gone. You know, I'm just kind of. I feel like I've completed my airsoft journey the moment that all of the work-related stuff goes away.
I mean, I
might kind of like pop in once every like 6 months and say I'm here, but like
I'd bide with that a bit, in that there are a lot of things I don't do, or I kind of don't regret, but things that I obviously know I've grown up from in this, and like things that you kind of look.
I mean, my thing is just like it
is a big thing in the industry. I think
I've pretty much done in airsoft all the stuff I've wanted to do in airsoft. So
well, that's the thing, is you have to think is like, since we've been here, it
been
amplified,
doing this since
like
2008. So
in like the 2 years I've been here and the 3 you've been here, it's like cramming. Like my 2 has been like cramming 5 or 6 years worth of events. Probably actually more, considering like especially during the summer. Every other
so
weekend,
like
we're at a game working, so it's
for like the shop. Since I started working at the shop,
we get a condensed version.
I've been at about 45 plus, maybe 50 nat ops.
Yeah. Easily.
And like,
and then you fill all the holes of that with like
local
open plays and
stuff
fields.
like that. And then my Facebook has been taken over by airsoft, so like generally like 90% of my news feed and my private messages that get sent to me are airsoft or airsoft related. And it's just, you know, like
a lot of my social
we do
media.
We do a lot of stuff having to do with airsoft. And like, it just, to me, like, it's kind of just like, I feel like as soon as the requirement to do so goes away, I'll probably be done. I mean, that sounds like it sucked. That sounds terrible, but that's just kind of what it is.
Mine would definitely be a huge step back.
Yeah, I would probably maybe go to one event, maybe 2 a year.
There's a lot changing, especially for me right now. So I know it would be, once you get to a certain point, it's just kind of, yeah, it is a requirement now. That's not to subtract, like,
I'm not here to detract from other people's fun of it, but
no,
it just kind of is what it is.
It's not to say that we don't necessarily have fun at these either. That's not what we're pinging on. I think it's,
you just feel like you've completed it. It's kind of like when you play a video game. Okay, you play this video game and you love it, but you've gotten all the achievements on it. You still might come back and play it every once in a while. But for all intents and purposes, like, you want to get a new game because you've done everything that you can do in this one. That's the way I feel about it. This may
even sound harsher than yours if it worded itself properly to myself, but the other thing with mine is that I know Airsoftology actually just had a video out on this, and he didn't dive into it too deep, but his big thumbnail is Airsoft dying.
Clickbait.
True, and I don't blame the dude. Like, he's a master at doing good subjects like that. He kind of, the way he described it was like it was kind of a flux and flow, and there was a peak a couple years ago, and it's kind of trickled off, but it's still more than like when things started.
Yeah, it's still getting bigger.
He did kind of an analogy of a certain field he used to play at where when he first started there were this many people, at a peak it had this many people, and then now it's kind of at a middle ground. I think that's kind of accurate for the community as a whole. Not necessarily as in players. As in players, we're probably at an all-time high right now.
Total players?
So many people that consider themselves airsofters. My big thing would be...
I just think that the thing is diversifying, so
my big thing
certain
is
segments of the hobby are dying out, and certain segments are growing.
My big thing is it won't happen tomorrow.
Especially in some locations, too. It's all very locational.
But my big thing is it won't happen tomorrow. It won't happen next year. Probably wouldn't for the next 5 years, but my big thing is what would your out finally be? Because there will be drastic changes to it in the future, especially with how insane this gun control issues are getting.
The political nature of America.
The political nature is starting to cinch down, not specifically on Airsoft, but it just happens. It happens to be in the grip of it because how related it is to real firearms.
Oh yeah, totally.
So it will change. Who knows if it'll be for the better? Knowing how life goes, hey bro, that's my phone. Sort of not for the better. It's really hard to say. So yeah, we're gonna leave you on just kind of a floater there.
That's a we got 3 minutes. Pick another one.
Was that me?
No, I asked the question.
But yeah.
And then I let you answer.
Catch my BBs. I know you got 3 more of those floating in there. I don't know
There's
if we're
3
gonna pull
more.
them out. They're not that heavy, but
3 more deep-seated.
I know he wanted to be watching, but he's not now, so hopefully
he'll see it when this comes up. He'll be fine.
Oh, here we go. Hey Dom, hope you're watching. Kalen Stock. How does Dom afford all of his stuff? Noodles, expensive spray paint, Beamer, second job, generous donation, loving parents. # time to leave the nest. His parents are extremely loving.
He is the Prince of Pizza.
I wish I could be his stepbrother sometimes.
The Sultan of Stromboli.
Long story short, love Dom. Dude comes from a pizza empire in Pittsburgh.
Yep.
So he has the means.
Yep.
He uses it.
I don't blame him.
I'll be we'll be serious about it. He's one of the most humble people I know. So let that say something.
Henry He, we might be able to squeeze this one in. Henry He, do you know of any way to HPA a G36? I was looking into getting a Wolverine V3, but I am worried the trigger board won't work since G36 V3s have a different fire selector compared to the standard AK. Well, the trigger board drops in on the inside and you use the standard fire selector that's on the AK or the G3 gearbox.
Just has to get the G36 nozzle.
Yeah, what you need for a G36 versus the difference in an AK setup for any drop-in system is the G36 specific nozzle for that drop-in. That's what you need. So we had a guy asking us questions the other day, and he was like, well, I got the V3 kit, and it's not working in my G36, and I was thinking of selling it, and I was like, what nozzle do you have? And he's like, the one that came with it. I'm like, that's for an AK. You need a G36 nozzle. That's why your gun doesn't shoot right. It's not just that's the thing. The term drop-in is very, it's not accurate.
The term drop-in
it's a marketing
was designed around the V2.
It's not even then. It's
not
necessarily honest. It's a marketing term. Basically what it is that you need to make sure that all the components match up with the type of stuff that you have. Because like a V2 kit might work in some guns, but the trigger board might not because of the shape of the gearbox.
Best thing we can tell you to do.
So you need to make sure you have all the correct parts. And the best thing I can do for that is to watch some YouTube videos or ask some questions of some businesses and make sure that they're not telling you crap.
Be proactive.
Be proactive.
And the Polar Star Lab about a month and a half, 2 months ago redid their entire website. And their general information FAQ part is fucking glorious. You can get
Polar Star's actual page.
Yes, their measurements and everything for nozzles is like the dictionary of nozzle information.
They're so
lengths.
good. Polar Star is so good
Because they're so precise.
They're so good
because
at that.
Airsoft is their like tertiary business. A lot of people I think forget that.
People don't remember, but Polar Star makes parts for race cars.
Yeah. Airsoft was just like, hey, we'll try this.
We'll try this, and then it became a thing. Like,
if you ever have questions about nozzles and stuff, even if it's for a different system,
they even have measurements of a lot of their competitors' stuff.
Not necessarily competitors, but they will show, like, if you have this body gun, this is the length nozzle you need for it to fill the hop-up completely. Then you just compare that to your system's available accessories, or you get in contact with them and say, I need a nozzle that is 0.63 whatever millimeters that will fit this, and then you're good.
Yep. Polar Star is glorious about that.
Yeah. So we're going to do a couple more live questions.
Yeah, we'll do a few more live questions, and then
we'll
sign off. So, all right. Or we have some good questions now.
Maybe, probably not.
Because you guys have been disappointing me with your questions.
There we go.
Do you think MSW will be around in 5 years? I don't know. That depends, one, on the owners. That depends, two, on the players, if they want to continue to support that style of game, and if the community wants to be around. I personally really love it. I know a lot of guys at the shop have really started to not want to do anything but MSW events, and they're building all of their kits and everything around the type of event. And the big reason they tend to like it is because they're not treated special. There's no preferential treatment of them, even though Amped Airsoft is sponsors MSW. They get treated just like all the other players, and you would be surprised how awesome that is to just get to actually just enjoy the event. and I think the big thing is a lot of guys like it because it's hard.
Sorry, our rant there made Pyatt depressed.
Oh,
this is depressing. I'm like, that's how it is, dude.
Hey, man, sometimes life, man. I'm married. I'm in my 30s. Like, I don't know how much longer I'm going to be doing this. Sorry, it just kind of is what it is. I don't make guarantees on things like that, because then I'll just disappoint somebody.
Random dude with a bunch of letters and numbers. Who here is going to Caspian Gap? We'll both be there. I think a good chunk of the shop is going to try and
We're
go.
going to have at least 5 to 6 guys from the shop. I don't actually get included in that number because I work that event for MSW. So there'll be like 5 or 6 guys from the shop plus myself.
Is there any aftermarket hop-ups for the G&G Scar L? That's from Bobby Schuster.
No, I'm sorry. It's this weird mixed version between a normal V2 hop-up and like...
What about the ones Zach has?
Those are for the VFC.
Oh, he said G&G. Duh.
Yeah, the G&G one's different than the VFC.
Yeah, G&G always does the weird shit with like mags, like the
Now, I will
AK
say that,
John
like,
John had.
if I remember correctly, the G&G Scars their hop-ups aren't that bad.
Oh, here's another one. Well, Jesus, I hate this thing. I don't know why. Why is Pyatt's comment like floating across the screen?
It's like ghost comments, like...
I forget where it went. Oh, it'll be right... Logan Brown again. How recent do MSW kits have to be?
Recent as in, like, era?
I think he's probably looking at, like, could he do, like, a Desert Storm kit or something?
Okay, so the Russian kit's a lot harder to get. So they allow you to do Russian kits circa, like, the, like, early 80s up to now.
Yep.
For NATO kits, they want it to be within the last about 10, probably, like, 5 to 10 years current. No DCU has to be with, like, multicam if you're doing NATO. But, like, they want it to be relatively current. And it has to do with identifying friend or foe, or IFF. The more muddied the waters get with, like, people doing kits from random eras and stuff like that, like, it really makes it hard to identify who's on each other's team. And then lots of fratricide happen. We already had a big instance of that at Assault on Volgograd, where there was a whole German group, and they got shot at by Canadians, and they were wearing Cad Pat and Flecktarn, respectively, and they were shot at by all kinds of people that they weren't supposed to be shot at by.
Lucas Retton, no dash Randy Hill.
Good call.
The Facebook auto response.
Basically, within the last 5, maybe at best 10 years for NATO kit is what they want.
We have.
Besides, you don't want to wear old kit anyways. I'm going to be real honest with you. If you get really old kit, it's really uncomfortable. There's a reason why we have new kit.
And then we have.
It's really not good for your back and stuff like that. You'll be miserable.
Andy Rawson, do active duty come play at MSW? Like take leave and come play?
Yes. At Grozny, we had probably 5 or 6 active duty
Rangers.
75th Ranger bat dudes, like second bat Rangers come and play on NATO.
Dudes.
They were like, ooh, they were fucking kids up. It was so funny.
Like you know in like
it was so
high
funny.
school,
You just sat there and you're like,
you know in like high school, there's that one kid on the track team who can like sprint circles around people.
yeah.
These dudes run that speed
With
in
kit.
full kit after like no sleep for 2 days straight. Like it is fucking.
Those dudes were
spooky.
out. Well, the best
and
thing
they're
was
quiet.
they were out there.
Cool.
Like they were like when I was busy trying to get my guys just to even stay awake for 2 hours straight. These guys
are like doing like
these dudes are like
push-ups and
these
rippets and shit.
these dudes are just like, give me 3 more rippets. We're gonna go back out on another patrol. And I'm just like, man, I wish you guys were in my platoon.
Like, I didn't shoot
I
enough
wish
kids
you guys
in
were
the
in
face.
my platoon. I want to go out and do patrols with you guys.
The thing is, I know a lot of these dudes are active duty because, especially when I do media and take a lot of photos for MSW.
Oh, that's how we know.
A lot of dudes will like come up to me personally and like, hey, dude, love the photos. Can't say enough about them, blah blah blah. But can you just
take me out of them,
blur my face, or make sure my photos aren't in there,
or crop me in such a way that I
Yeah.
can't see my face? Like,
So-
and then you can like they want the originals though, so they're like, I
Yeah,
want
we'll
the
take 'em.
original because I look cool.
Yeah.
But I don't want you to post that on Facebook with my face in it because I'll totally get busted for lying about what I did on leave.
they'll get busted, or like they're not supposed to be. Yeah. So
But yes, active duty dudes do show up a lot.
they show there, and it's hilarious to be with them because they just.
Well, because they have
Cool.
this hilarious attitude. Like really service and active duty dudes, like the cadre and stuff like that. We have this hilarious attitude where like nothing really phases us, and we understand the pacing that we need to do. So we're like chill when everyone else is freaking out, and we're like laser beam focused when we need to be. It's super hilarious. It only that type of life experience will give you that. And it's very fun if you're not in that life experience. Like Matt was around it and he just kind of got to see a little glimpse of it and he's like, holy shit, so-and-so's like nuts. And I'm like, nah, he's not nuts.
Yeah.
He's just turned on right now. And then as soon as he needs to lay down and take a nap, when he knows that nothing's going to happen, he's going to be asleep.
Yep.
He won't even take his kit off. He'll just lay down and just be like,
We got
be
Gino
dead.
G. Oh no, don't do that. Gino G. Does the adapt pack flop around? Oh, I hate this thing.
that jumped. Ah! No.
Oh, here we go.
Randy,
No,
go.
does the adapt pack flop with a tank in the inside in the water bottle pocket, or does it flop around on a plate carrier?
It's a 500 denier backpack that only has 4 points of contact on a plate carrier.
Yeah.
So it's gonna have some slop to
It
it
has-
unless it's completely packed all the way full.
What's it have? 1,100 cubic inches.
It's like 1,100 cubic
Something
inches.
ridiculous.
It's pretty big. That being said, though, if you wear it as a standalone backpack, I don't really have an issue.
No, if you wear it just as a backpack and you use shoulder straps, you're fine.
I think
on
the-
a plate carrier, it's gonna flop.
I think the attaching it to a plate carrier thing was like an afterthought, like oh, this is a feature we can do.
I honestly think it was more for like how you use it. How you just hook it onto the outside of your pack, not necessarily
Oh
on
yeah,
a plate carrier.
which
I
you'll see
think
in my
that's-
loadout
yeah.
video, by the way. I have a 2-part loadout video, and you'll get to see how I run that, and you guys will actually probably you'll like, wow, really, that's a good idea. Like, but that's kind of it works on a plate carrier, but I think it's an afterthought. I would prefer to run it with the backpack straps personally.
And then Logan Brown, Anthony changing tires at Clash.
Oh yes.
Um,
Bum, bum, ba-na-na-na-na-na.
Jasper Osman.
Join the motherfucking army.
Enlighten us on the Poseidon barrels. It's
okay.
BBs come out of it and they're pretty accurate.
It's okay.
It's
Don't use the bucking that comes with it.
The bucking wasn't too good, and to be fair, I lost it immediately, so we didn't get
Well,
to
we
test
destroyed
it,
it
too
too.
much. Yeah.
Like we beat it up, and it wasn't holding up very well, and we only
Yeah.
test fired it. Then we took it out because we're like, oh, we'll try it with something else. We tried it with a bunch of other parts, shot okay, and then we went to come back to that bucking, and we lost it.
Yeah. Rich is like, yeah, PBs come out of it, and you can generally hit people with it.
You can hit someone in a reasonably accurate manner.
Its build quality
somewhat consistently.
Build quality is very good. I'm pretty sure it's stainless steel.
It's a stainless steel barrel.
So, I mean, right there alone,
It's already okay.
The bore is pretty good. It wasn't what we expected to be, because generally we had thought it was going to be a channel,
So
right?
they say that it's got these channels, right, that, like, make it more accurate and all this stuff.
Well, the idea was that it was a channel down the bottom that was supposed to
push the BBs up, so that
supposed to do that and push air below it to kind of help with the backspin.
Well, basically, like, okay, so if you have a barrel, any inner barrel with an airsoft gun, the thing that you want to do is to make the BB consistently ride in the same spot on the top of the barrel.
Yeah.
So that way your hop up always is consistently good and it shoots consistently in the same spot. That's your end goal. Orgas and wide bores and stuff like that, they say that you want to flood the whole barrel with air and you want to try to keep the BB from riding the top of the barrel, but it is going to eventually anyways. That's just the way physics are going to work.
Yep.
The Poseidon had this thing where it's like, oh, we cut these channels in it, so it'll like make it stay up there. And we thought that the channel was like, oh, maybe it goes all the way down the barrel. That'd be pretty cool. We open it up, it's just two little notches on the front and back.
And the thing is, the one in the back is...
So then it's just a standard steel barrel with
like a little
notches in it.
Because the one in the back is covered by the bucking.
Yeah, the one in the back is covered by the...
Yeah, the way it sits,
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So it's just like,
but
okay.
We have it installed in our ProTech in
it shoots okay.
G&G SR XL body. It shoots fine.
It shoots okay.
It was keeping up with
my jack and stuff like that.
Yeah, it was keeping up with his
not quite as good, but it didn't shoot as good as like a PDI, let's be fair, but
yeah. It's because I forget what bore
but
it is.
if you want me to be real honest with you,
it's like 604,
I think the ProTech itself was making up for the lack
Yeah,
of the
to
barrel.
be fair, because with the wider bore nozzle, it was probably
the
flooding
ProTech
what you needed.
The ProTech dumps a lot of air per cycle because it's a very wide bore nozzle. How do you guys deal with people not calling out local or MSW events? Okay, how do you deal with people cheating, shrugging hits? How do you deal with people hit shrugging?
You asking me?
Because I have two versions of that.
Shoot them more.
There's people who shrug, and there's also people who call other people out, which I also feel is just as dishonorable as people who hit shrug.
No, I hate people who call out more.
I hate people who call out people more. I really do, because that means that you're accusing someone of being a liar and being dishonorable. You're calling out their honor, and that makes you look like a turd. Like, it makes you look like a turd. But how do I deal with people who don't die? Well, the first step is I don't take it too personally because it's BB guns and it's BBwarz. At the end of the day, we're all playing pretend. And if they want to act childish, then whatever. I mean, whatever. But also my solution to that is to just continually shooting that one person until I either get wrecked or I waste all my ammo or that person decides to finally call themselves dead. Because chances are probably you're just not hitting them.
Yeah.
9 times out of 10, hit calling issues have to do with the person who's shooting
all the time,
just not hitting the person that they think they're hitting, and that happens so often. It's just like,
Pyatt wants to know if we can visit him in Mercer this weekend. I have so many better things to do.
Dude, I haven't really hung out with my wife in a while, like, and gone and done like couple stuff. So like,
you spent a month with her.
Well, that's the thing. Like, she still wants to do couple stuff, even if I spent a month plus with her. So I gotta go do stuff. No BBwarz for Anthony this weekend. None. BBwarz last weekend. We're taking a break. Taking a break for a couple weeks.
Last one from Rich.
Do it.
Any updates on tag?
Rich,
you don't have to ask the question 20 times. I see them.
Okay.
You turd.
Let's see here.
I'm gonna throw all your mags away.
Okay,
he just
so
wants to know tags.
Tags. Okay, so basically, like, there's a lot of like
cringing.
There's a lot of like.
Oh, there you go.
There's a lot of like political stuff about that, so I can't really get into too good of details about it. But what I can do is I can say that.
Oh.
I know. What I can say is that basically, right now they're waiting on approval through the government, and that process takes stupid long time.
They're the non-explosive ones.
The non-explosive ones are fine,
point.
and the shells are fine. But any of the fun ones are not.
The boom booms, the R2Bs are like a ways out, and the other ones are still in check. Of what we know, we could be being lied to, and then they'll never appear. So who knows?
I mean, Sure, people
I mean,
can
you guys can keep asking, but it's always gonna be the same answer until if we know something, we tell you guys. We don't
it's
hide
not like
stuff,
I usually
yeah.
don't hide anything from you guys. But yeah, typically like we're waiting on that stuff. Now you can try to run the gambit and have them shipped directly in from Russia yourself, but there's no guarantee you'll make it because of customs and shit like that.
Yeah.
But you can try. Well, I've
Alright.
seen people try and succeed. So, all right, guys. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna talk about some new stuff coming as we do our outro.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go first just because I'm already talking. This right here is the prototype of the Polar Star F1 IGL with its specific F1 fitting.
Yep.
So this is a prototype of this. So expect to see F1 IGLs coming out very soon.
And for those of you who don't know, our standard IGL does not fit.
Yeah.
Obviously, why this has its own, because we're
Yeah.
just making sure guys don't buy it randomly thinking it will just fit like it does on
No,
all
you
the
need
other
a you need a
systems.
specific F1. It has
Yep.
a special fitting. So the Polar
Yep.
Star Fusion engine and the F1 have their own IGLs that are specifically
Yep.
for those systems. The Mark II from ProTech, the Jack, the SMP, and the Inferno Hydra all use the regular IGL.
Yep.
But this is one being probably released pretty. Oh, and the Daytona gun one.
Yeah.
This is going to be released probably within the next month or two, barring waiting on our manufacturer to complete the design of these fittings for us.
Mm-hmm.
Should be super cool. So then everybody can have an IGL. Also, we should be doing a review sometime nearby of the Pinyan barrel.
Yeah.
Probably within the next couple months. We're pretty much
We're looking at a shooting comparison video, so if we can get that
if we can
together,
get that put together.
yeah, that'll
we'll
be a
see.
thing.
We'll see. And
And
then
the other fancy thing that Air Rigs, they've been busy lately.
Biggs has been busy.
Look at that little coiled line. This is V2, as in only the second one that has been made, but this is our prototype Tippmann line.
As you can see, it's already super flexible compared
As
to...
you can see, it is on par with our other lines, and we have run the Tippmann on it. It is one of our UFAs, a new style line, and right now we are testing PTCs, push to connects. Yeah.
Push to connects, yes.
So right now we are testing these.
No
so-
slide checks.
Well, we're thinking of offering.
Well, we're doing both. We're
Yeah.
probably going to offer both, but
But our Air Rigs department is actually tearing away on science and things right now. They have done a lot of testing, and a lot of it has been pleasing so far.
This
so
is
we're
1,000
really, yes, this is a
1,000
it's
PSI
crazy.
working pressure line.
But as you can see, like,
And it's
not
super flexible.
coily, and it's not the stiff steel line.
It won't break when it gets shot with a BB.
We haven't had any
it's
cycling
cut
issues.
resistant.
Yep.
It's cut resistant. It's high flow. Pretty cool. That's going to be
So,
coming out.
Hopefully this will be coming out soon. Again, the Air Rig guys are doing science left and right to make sure that these things are quality, especially on par with our standard
Biggs.
lines.
I love you,
So
Biggs.
even when we tell him the line is good enough, he's just going to keep beating away on them until he fixes it or makes it even better. So yes, these are two of the biggest things we have coming out. So
Yep.
bunch of other videos coming up.
We're gonna
Yeah.
we're gonna do Stu's kit video.
That should be coming soon.
There's a 2-part video somewhere along the line of my kit video. There's probably by the time you guys have seen this, we've already launched the EPM review, the long-term EPM review.
Yep.
There's some gameplay. There's the rest of Grozny that needs to get.
Yep. There's
Put
one
up.
left of Grozny,
One
which
left
will
of
be
Grozny.
when you see this, when it comes out on Friday. It
next
should be
week.
the following Friday.
So,
Yeah.
Pretty
Hopefully
good.
we can paste a battle hack video together.
and then yeah, and then we'll get back to our regularly scheduled amps with Pelican preachings and fun stuff like that for the next one. We just figured
Yeah.
we'd throw some live stream questions in this one just to make it
Yeah.
interesting.
We might for 60 because we like doing random numbers. We're like, hey, let's do 40. Maybe we'll do 63. Who knows? We'll maybe
pick
try
one.
and do something a little more special.
Maybe.
but
We'll see.
Yeah. Thank you guys for stopping in for 50. We made it this far and people still are around for it.
Excuse me, but Airsoftology made it to 150.
Are his episodes an
whatever.
hour long?
Typically, no.
I'm sorry you guys sit around for an hour.
Why
for
do you
these days.
watch these? These are dumb. Like,
I still do it.
anyway,
Yeah,
so this has
get
been
outta here.
Anthony.
Matt?
Thanks for stopping by. If you have any questions, obviously submit them down below in the doobly-doo, and we'll try to get them answered as honestly as we possibly can without getting fired. See you guys later.
Yeah, see you for 51 in like 2 weeks.
Deuces. All right, so that's done.